Okay, in this video I want to do a quick overview of the determiners. Okay, and they're also known as the limiting adjectives. And when I was learning this many years ago, they were just considered a subgroup of the adjectives, but many books nowadays actually have them as their own part of speech because they do behave quite a bit differently than the normal descriptive adjectives like far, long, yellow, green, noisy, things like that. So determiners, specifically determiners answer one of two questions. They answer which one. Oh, I'm going to start with quotation marks, but I one. Or how many. Okay? So those are the questions they answer. Now, let's start with the which one determiners. Okay, which one? And the first one we're going to look at is the definite article. And this is a rather small group. As a matter of fact, it's the word the or the. Okay? So we use that to narrow down. So if we're talking about star as the noun or stars as the noun, so we talk about the star or these stars, we're talking about one star out of the trillions or a small group of stars, or certainly less than the whole. Okay? The demonstrative determiners or adjectives, and there are four of them: this, that, these, and those. And here we begin to see how they're different from regular adjectives. We said regular descriptive adjectives did not change for singular or plural nouns. Well, the demonstrative determiners do. This and that are for singular nouns. These and those are for plural nouns. This dog, these dogs. Okay, let's move on. The interrogative. If we want to ask a question. The interrogative determiners or adjectives. Okay? And these are words like which, what, or whose. So, which dog, what tree, whose dog, or whose tree. In this case, we want to know who owns it or who possesses it. Okay? And then we have the ordinals, or the ordinal numbers. Okay? We won't put all of them. There's just an infinite number, but we'll get the front end first. We'll pick a small one. Fourth, we'll pick a big one. 2,518th. Okay, and then we'll go all the way to the last one, Okay. And last is an ordinal. We talked about who possesses something. It's a good way to narrow it down. So we have possessive determiners or possessive adjectives. And there are words like my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. Okay? And these, again, unlike most adjectives, they have a first person singular, a first or a second person singular or plural. It's the same one. A third person singular. They have 3 third person singular forms, depending on the gender of who is doing the owning. A first person plural and a third person plural. Okay? And these are different than the demonstrative determiners, because in this case, whether you use a singular or plural depends on the noun that follows. And in this case, whether they're singular, plural, or first or second person depends on the number and person, and in the case of third person, the gender of who's doing the owning. Okay? So as long as I'm the owner, it's my dog or my dogs. Okay, and now let's look. Here's a big group, sort of. And that's the possessive nouns. Okay, and so let's put a couple nouns down here. Bill, dog, computer, and let's make them possessive. Okay, and I'm writing the apostrophe S in the determiner color, because once we add the apostrophe S and we make them possessive, they become determiners. Which dog? Bill's dog. Whose collar? The dog's collar. Okay, which power supply? The computer's power supply. Okay. So the possessive nouns, once you make them possessive, they start functioning as determiners. They answer the question, which one? Okay, now let's go to how many. Let's look at the second question. How many? Okay. And we have, let me give myself some room. We have the indefinite article. Okay, so a or an. Okay, and these are actually both the same word. A if it's followed by a consonant sound, and if it's followed by a vowel sound. Okay, but they tell us we're interested in one out of a large group. Okay, but they really don't tell us which one. They just tell us we're concerned about a dog, but they don't tell us which dog. So all they really tell us is how many. Okay, that's why they're indefinite. Now, the indefinite determiners, or the indefinite adjectives, or the indefinite quantifiers. You'll see all 3 terms, they all mean the same thing. These are words like some, or all, or few, or many. Okay, and that's not all of them. Okay, that's a sampling. And then we have the cardinals, or the cardinal numbers. Okay, not the birds, the cardinal numbers. And we'll use the same way we use first, so we'll have, so we'll have 1, and then we'll jump ahead to 4, and then we'll jump ahead to 2,518. Okay, so those are the big groups of determiners. Again, depending whether you want to call ES is the word, because you can add it to all of these. This is really a pretty closed class. Okay, there aren't any new determiners being thought up. So, one thing to kind of take away before I leave, before I go on to another video, is that we need to be careful, because a lot of these can also function. The same word also it can be a pronoun or it can be a noun. So this, that, these, those can also be used as demonstrative pronouns. Which, what, and whose can be used as interrogative pronouns. The ordinals, first, fourth, can be used as nouns. The possessive pronouns are a little different, although his and its can be used as possessive pronouns. The indefinite determiners can be used as pronouns, and the cardinals can be used as nouns. Okay, it all depends on how they function in a given sentence and where they're located in a given sentence. Okay, and when we start building sentences, we'll show how to recognize when it's being used as a determiner, when it's being used as a noun or a pronoun. Okay, and with that, I will stop here and go make another video.